This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
They feel forgotten. They don't feel remembered.
Only on RTV6, The Push, to fill an empty space to honor injured public safety members. We're breaking down the cost and the vision.
Renting a home can be scary and sometimes frustrating. Working for you, we're looking at how city leaders are planning to protect tenants.
Things are changing in the racing capital of the world.
It's a precursor of what we can do in the future.
The big announcement that may have just switched up your Brickyard weekend plans.
And you want your vehicle to get you from point A to point B and last as long as possible. This morning, we're looking at the longest lasting vehicles so you don't waste your money.
All right, 6 o'clock here on your Thursday, January 16th. Thanks for waking up early with us here on Good Morning Indiana.
I am so happy that the lights are still on Monument Circle, which gives me another week to remove the wreath at the Sanchez.
And I'm so happy that we can actually see not only the lights at Monument Circle, but stoplights and things like that this morning. Because yesterday, you couldn't see them, Todd. No visibility issues today.
Yeah, the fog is long gone. You don't have to worry about that. The only thing you have to worry about is maybe grabbing the heavier coat once again as you walk out the door this morning. We've had temperatures this cold so far this week in the morning hours, but we've warmed throughout the course of the day into the 40s and 50s. Today, there's not going to be much in the way of warming. 27 to 34 with partly cloudy skies, but very quiet. That is the good news. We just have the clouds that are in place this morning across the area, but these are going to move out pretty quickly. Already the drier air is starting to work its way in, and the clouds are eroding in eastern Illinois, and that trend will continue from west to east here across central Indiana throughout the morning hours. Plus, once the sun comes up, that'll help to burn some of this cloud cover off. So initially, mostly cloudy skies, but then turning partly cloudy throughout the day. But look at these temperatures from 8 a.m. to noon. We only really go up to about 29 degrees, and we only end up right around 34 for your afternoon high. We'll talk about the rest of today and the snow heading our way for tomorrow evening coming up in just a few minutes. But at 6:01, let's get another look at the roadways.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. As you said, visibility is looking great this morning. A big change from what you saw yesterday morning for your commute. Here's a look in Fishers. Good morning to you. I-69 near 106th Street, where traffic's really picking up both northbound and southbound, but it's traveling smoothly, so no issues here. Let's plan out your Hamilton County drive right now. Looking at your drive time heading southbound on Interstate 69. Starting you off here in Fishers, State Road 37, heading to the I-465 ramps, a quick 5-minute commute.
The time now is 6:02. We are a city of monuments, and only on RTV6, it's hoping to be a gesture of gratitude. It's an ongoing effort to honor public safety workers injured in the line of duty. Santos Cortez is in the gym 5 days a week.
The healthier I can be, the more active I can be, the better chances I give my body to fight off any infections or wounds or anything like that.
He's been in a wheelchair since 2012 when he was injured on the job by a drunk driver. The retired Metro police officer keeps busy being a father of 3 and now nurturing a monumental idea.
They feel forgotten. They don't feel remembered.
He's raising funds for a monument that will honor the contributions of public safety workers injured in the line of duty and forced to leave their careers, including police officers, EMTs, firefighters, sheriff's deputies, and state troopers.
Let's give them a little recognition. Let's say thank you for the sacrifices you and your family have had now with your injuries that you live with on a daily basis.
This is the site where Santos would like to see his dream rise, on the west side of the Capitol, next to the memorial honoring fallen police and firefighters. The green space is available. The unknown is state approval. So Santos is staying the course, focused on the monument and his exercise machines.
I was put on this earth to move forward and better other people's lives.
And he's getting some help on this. State Representative Mike Speedy of Indianapolis is supporting that measure in the State House. He says the monument project will need at least $350,000. And Santos is working on raising those dollars to support the monument, to support his effort. You can send contributions to the Indiana State Fraternal Order of Police. The address, 1427 East Washington Street, right here in Indianapolis. The zip code is 46201. In the memo line of the check, please write Injured Public Safety Monument.
If you rent your home or apartment in the city of Indianapolis, we need you to listen up. The city is working to protect you against unfair landlords. It's part of the new initiative introduced by Mayor Joe Hogsett. Our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. Alyssa, this proposal is meant to help people who rent from being taken advantage of.
Exactly. So the plan would require tenants to the plan would require landlords to let their tenants know what their rights are. It would also launch an information hotline for tenants, and it would also provide resources for tenants to take legal action against landlords who are not fair to them and providing only unlivable conditions for them. Now, we've covered dozens of stories of tenants facing unlivable conditions, fraud, and negligence from their landlords. City leaders have heard these complaints as well. Mayor Joe Hogsett announcing the new initiative yesterday and stating he's heard stories of tenants left without electricity and running water. The initiative also calls for a new tenant protection ordinance that would fine landlords for taking action against tenants who report those unlivable conditions to the health department or contact the city for help or take legal action.
The villains here are not the many responsible landlords and property owners throughout our city. Rather, those few who have failed to hold up their end of the bargain.
Indianapolis is in the top 5 cities for most evictions across the country. The goal of the proposal is to bring that number down and protect Indianapolis families. Now, the proposal still needs to go through City County Council, and if it is passed, then the information hotline as well as those legal resources will be available starting in the spring. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Time now 6:06. Call 6 investigates, reporting on Indiana's infant mortality issue is getting attention at the State House.
Stephanie, I think the story that you did really helped push this issue forward.
Call 6's Stephanie Wade has been working for months to uncover solutions to this serious issue. Governor Eric Holcomb announcing in his State of the State address last night that he supports Tuesday night that he supports a pregnancy accommodation law. Under such legislation, pregnant women could get more breaks in the workplace and temporary job restructuring. Advocates say that those small changes can make a big difference.
Particularly if you work at a desk job or in a field that's already really good about providing accommodations, you may not realize just how essential those breaks are, that ability to continue working to particularly our low-income moms. We are trying to keep them employed and safe.
The 2 bills have been filed in both the House and the Senate, and of course we'll keep you updated as they progress through the State House.
A terrifying moment caught on camera as someone, as you can see, crashes, and there it is, into a West Side business. This morning, police continue to search for the driver, last spotted leaving that scene. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with more on this ongoing investigation. Kelsey, what is the latest right now?
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So this is what this scene looks like right now. You can see the wall is boarded up and all the rubble is still here on the ground waiting to be cleaned up as police continue to search for the woman who's responsible for this. So take a look. This is who witnesses say was driving the car yesterday afternoon. They say there was 4 people inside the store, including the owner, and thankfully no one was hurt. Owner Jeremy Steffens says the driver quickly got out of the car and took off, not showing any regard that she could have seriously hurt all of them.
Hops out of the car, gas and stuff and fluids are coming out of the car. She starts to take off. We go out there to kind of confront her, be like, hey, you fleeing the scene. And she's like, no. And then she runs back and grabs her purse and then continues to take off. We weren't going to stop her and weren't going to risk nothing like that.
Stefan says he hopes to have the store open again by Friday. And if you recognize the woman right here that you see on your screen in these photos, if you recognize her, IMPD wants to hear from you. Their phone number is 317-327-3811. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is a big problem that RTV6 was first to report to you on Tuesday. Several East Side businesses are trying to catch this repeat thief, stealing truck batteries and costing them thousands of dollars. Twice this week, Brian Holloway of Advanced Office Logistics says batteries have been stolen from their trucks. The thief has been caught on surveillance video multiple times driving in a two-toned van with a missing bumper. At least 4 other businesses have also caught the suspect in the act. Holloway says the thief got away with 12 batteries from his company in the last week. This morning, a former Clark County probation officer faces charges himself. Investigators say Gerald Kopp had sex with 2 inmates he was overseeing. Kopp is also accused of bringing the inmates contraband. He resigned from the position at the end of last year. This morning, Kopp is being held in the Clark County Jail.
Time now is 6:10. Crews are back to work to improve an intersection in Fortville. There have been several crashes where State Road 67 meets State Road 13. It's an issue we've been following since November of 2018 after drivers told RTV6 that this intersection is dangerous. Work began in August to install a traffic signal, but it was not finished. So we followed up earlier this month. The Indiana Department of Transportation said the contractor was having trouble getting materials. Last week, we found out that INDOT developed a plan with that contractor. Well, the end of the line is changing for the Red Line Rapid Transit route. Buses that went to East 96th Street and College Avenue will now stop at East 91st and College. Indigo says that's a better endpoint because traffic issues at 96th Street. They also say it's more convenient to get to the electric bus's charging station. A representative says very few riders were going all the way to 96th Street.
The time now is 6:11, and changes impacting thousands of Indianapolis students will take effect before the start of the new school year this fall. The State Board of Education voted to give control of 3 IPS schools back to the school district. Now, under the IPS plan, Manual High School will partner with another educational provider, Crystal House. Abaddon Middle School will be operated by a new unnamed company, and Howe High School will close at the end of this school year. These changes will start after an agreement with Florida-based Charter Schools USA expires. You can read more about this plan in the RTV6 app.
A new federal law raises the age to buy tobacco from 18 to 21. New at 6:16, why Hoosier lawmakers are drafting their own laws and how it will differ from the federal law. Todd.
As you walk out the door this morning, you do not have to worry about anything in the way of visibility issues. The fog is long gone. The skies are still cloudy, but they will clear out as the day goes on. You're just going to have to bundle up. Temperatures in the 20s for most of us here this morning, and the wind is making it feel even a little bit colder, so grab the heavier coat. We'll talk about the rest of your forecast, which includes some snow and a real big blast of cold air heading our way over the weekend coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Flooring, floors to your home. That too.
The time now is 6:15. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Here's a look at what's expected to make headlines later today. The Senate is set to vote today on President Trump's United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. That landmark trade deal is set to replace NAFTA. The trade deal passed the House last month, with lawmakers on both sides hailing the pact as beneficial for farmers and ranchers. Millions of Americans are bracing for winter weather starting today. The Lake Tahoe area itself is under a winter storm warning. They could see as much as 2 feet of snow by tonight. Meteorologists say a cold blast of air will also sweep from the Midwest into the Northeast today, with wind gusts in some places up to 50 miles per hour possible. Our Todd will have a look at your forecast in just a few moments. And don't make him mad. Don't make him angry. The Incredible Hulk is about to become a sheriff's deputy in New Mexico. You see, Lou Ferrigno, who played Bruce Banner's alter ego in the 1980s hit show The Hulk, says he will be sworn in as a deputy today. Ferrigno says it's not an honorary role. He's certified, and he says he's always wanted to be a deputy.
It's 6:16. The push to toughen Indiana's penalties on stores for selling tobacco products to underage customers is under fire. Some lawmakers wonder if the proposed fines are too steep. Members of the state's Senate Health Committee to endorse the bill includes raising the minimum age for smoking and vaping from 18 to 21. That proposal also triples the possible retailer fines of up to $3,000 based on the number of violations.
A new campaign is putting a face to the millions of women who serve our country. The Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs hosted photo shoots for women veterans. It's part of a push to put their service in the spotlight. The national effort is called I Am Not Invisible. Participants say sadly they're often not seen as veterans simply because they are women. The pictures will be used for veteran websites and other media. There are around 32,000 women veterans in Indiana, and we thank each and every one of them for their service.
We salute all the ladies. All of them. I do better when I work with ladies. Look at me.
So does Todd, and he is standing by with your forecast for today, Todd, and we have good news.
Yeah, you know, it's better news in the sense that we don't have the visibility issues. It's not as good news in the sense that temperatures are going to be a lot colder for afternoon highs than they have been really this entire month, and we're right smack dab in the middle of the month. It's been running well above normal. 30 degrees, that's the current temperature. And the issue today is right here, the northwest wind. The wind's going to remain persistent out of the northwest. That's a colder wind direction for us, and that's going to keep the temperatures from warming much at all. And the wind's pretty gusty this morning at 16 miles per hour. That's making temperatures that are in the 20s and 30s right now feel more like the teens and 20s across the area. So it's a colder start for us. You definitely need to bundle up as we work our way throughout the morning hours. Temperatures, even with the sunshine appearing, will only be right around 30 degrees by the noon hour, and then this afternoon, high temperatures only get up to right around 34 with the clear skies. Once the sun sets, we'll quickly start to cool back off into the 20s very, very quickly. Here are the clouds that are in place across the area. No precipitation, though. That's the good news. It's a dry morning commute for you. The back edge of the cloud cover now approaching eastern Illinois. The clouds will continue to clear out this morning from west to east across the area. So some of you just got to be a little bit patient, especially on the eastern side of the state, for eventually the sunshine to return. Temperature-wise, tomorrow we're below freezing until the evening hours. Notice that temperatures come up between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. as the precipitation moves in, which initially is going to be in the form of some accumulating snow across the area. It's a band of snow that's going to be moving into the area during the evening hours, more so the late evening hours. So your afternoon and evening drive tomorrow is just fine. If you're going to be out late Friday night into Saturday, that's when you may run into a few issues. And as the snow comes in, it's probably a pretty good initial burst of snow, maybe mixing with a little bit of freezing rain and or some sleet. And then that band of snow moves to the north by the time we get to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We get to Saturday morning around 6 o'clock. Could be a little bit of freezing rain from Indianapolis to the north, but then eventually everybody goes over to all rain. As far as the snow accumulation goes, not much accumulation along I-70, maybe up to a half an inch. Once you work your way to the north, about 1 to 3 inches, with those 3-inch totals, as you see, being further to the north. So generally about 1 to 2 in some of our northern counties. And as we go back over the TrueCast Saturday morning, as the warmer air comes in, it's all rain for us throughout the morning hours on Saturday. And then by Saturday afternoon, that rain is moving out. Could see about a half an inch to an inch of rain, which could result in some minor flooding. Nothing like we saw Friday into Saturday, but boy, look at those temperatures. This storm system, while it doesn't bring us a ton of snow, it unlocks some very, very cold air. A high of only 20 on Sunday. Monday morning temperatures all the way down into the single digits. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning as you're heading out on the roads. Here is a live look right now down in Johnson County. Greenwood, good morning to you here at the Main Street exit. Traffic looks to be traveling just fine. No major issues to slow you down. So let's take a look at our traffic now map and plan out your drive time here coming in from the northwest side. Heading down I-65 here from the Dog Lake to I-70 at the North Split. It's a 17-minute drive. The good news right now is you're heading out for your Thursday. No crashes to report around the metro area.
The time now is 6:20 and just 1 week into the new ownership, and big changes already are out and about at 16th and Georgetown. Let's take you there. Roger Penske, Doug Bowles, and NASCAR director Ben Kennedy announcing the Xfinity Series, NASCAR's feeder series, will move into its Saturday race from the famed oval to the road course. It'll be the first time that NASCAR has utilized the road course at IMS. 3 other NASCAR road course races are scheduled this year in Charlotte, Sonoma, and Watkins Glen. The Brickyard 400, now in its 27th year, will still run on the oval.
Now to historic Hinkle Fieldhouse and 5th-ranked Butler taking on 18th-ranked Seton Hall. Things were looking good for Butler at halftime as they held a comfortable 10-point lead. But the second half would not be easy for the Bulldogs. Butler shot just 30% from the floor, falling to Seton Hall 78-70. The Bulldogs now travel to DePaul on Saturday. Seton Hall now takes control of the Big East.
A group of preschoolers out in California helping a classmate in need. New at 6:26, how they raised thousands of dollars for a friend fighting for his life. We'll be right back.
Lazy Boy, live life comfortably.
The time now is 6:24. Time to see what's trending at 6. And you never know who's watching television, right? Because and if you've lost something, maybe that person lives in Indiana. So is this you? Because we could use your help. A Wisconsin charity is looking for the owner of an important piece of jewelry. There it is. The resale store in Sunshine House says it found an old ring with a World War II veteran logo on it. So is this yours? The organization believes the ring was donated by mistake. Research shows the ring dates back to the 1940s. Hopefully we'll have a clearer picture of that ring.
I know. Well, I bet they're covering it so the right person comes forward, the wrong person doesn't take advantage of the situation.
You're the smart one, and so is Lauren. I like you too. You're good.
All right, well, here are some smart people. Some of tennis's biggest stars turning out to take part in the Rally for Relief. The event was raising money to support those affected by the devastating bushfires that have covered large parts of Australia over recent months. More than 15,000 people attended the event, which included various competitions, including some with local first responders. And get this, the event raised more than $4.8 million.
Wow.
Very impressive.
Did you see that move, like under the leg, kind of?
Oh, yeah, that's like I do that all the time when I'm playing tennis. I'm terrible at tennis.
Oh, my goodness. Well, okay, guys, some California preschoolers are showing just how big their little hearts are. The kids raised more than $10,000 to help a classmate. Doctors found a tennis-sized tumor in Jasper Masako's brain. Children and their families volunteered their time and supplies to hold a fundraiser. Some Starbucks employees even stopped by to help run this stand. That's incredible.
Very sweet.
Very sweet there. Okay, we do want to talk to Todd as the kids are getting ready to maybe head out to the bus stop, head into school. We're not on delays today, so that is the first good news.
No delays. Get to the bus stop on time here this morning. There's no visibility issues. You just need to bundle up. It's going to be chilly out there because we're dealing with temperatures that are in the 20s in most locations. And there's a bit of a breeze as well, and that's making it feel even a little bit colder with some mostly cloudy skies. But those skies will thin a little bit throughout the morning hours. And by the noon hour, we're looking at 32 degrees with partly cloudy skies. But unfortunately, temperatures really don't warm much more from that point. Only upper 20s to the north, about 34 in Indianapolis, 35 to 36 degrees from Bloomington to Columbus.
Todd, thank you so much. So when you go car shopping, gas mileage, dependability, maintenance costs, having it first checked by a mechanic should be on your checklist.
This morning, our John Matarese is working for you with which cars will keep running well after you pay them off.
If you're someone who likes to keep your car a long time so you don't have to spend money for a new one, well, then you'll be interested in this list. The site iSeeCars.com has crunched the registration and resale numbers to come up with the cars that people keep 15 years or longer. These tend to be cars that can run 200,000 miles with minimal problems and not require new engines, transmissions, and other very pricey repairs. As you might expect, the list is dominated by Japanese brands for 2020. Toyota, Honda, and Subaru take up all 15 spots on the list. The Toyota Highlander SUV is number 1, with the Toyota Sienna, the top minivan, and the Toyota Tacoma, the top pickup truck. A bit further down the list is the Chevy Silverado, Ram, and Ford F-150 pickup trucks, which you would think people would keep longest, as pickups tend to have long lives. But even there, the Tacoma edges them out for reliability over 15 years. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you. For more cost-saving tips and ideas, visit the money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
Time now, 6:28. The IRS is using a fraud filter to make sure that refunds aren't issued to scammers. But that means that our tax returns may take a little bit longer longer to arrive. According to Taxpayer Advocate Service, the IRS took more than 40 days to process returns last year, which meant delayed refunds. Experts say if you want to make sure you get your refund on time, gather all your documents now to properly report all sources of income. If it's a simple return, you should file it quickly.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Thursday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. We're learning more about what led to the arrest of the former president of Franklin College. Court documents say Thomas Minor used a dating app to send sexually explicit messages to someone he thought was a 15-year-old boy. Police say he was actually talking to an undercover officer. Minor was fired by Franklin College earlier this week.
Shelbyville High School is not saying why the head boys basketball coach abruptly resigned this week. Ryan Mack is only saying that personal reasons caused him to step down on Tuesday. Mack's departure comes in the middle of the basketball season. In fact, the day that Mack resigned, the Bears beat Columbus East on the road under assistant coach Josh Hartman.
Let's talk job. Big news for hundreds of temporary General Motors workers. More than 1,300 temporary workers at 14 GM plants, including Bedford and Fort Wayne, will get full-time positions before the end of March. At this point, workers at the Marion stamping plant are not included. GM says the workers will start at $21 to $24 an hour, depending on their seniority. They'll also get improved health care and other benefits as well.
Connorsville is the latest city to get a safe haven baby box. It's being placed at the Connorsville Fire Department on South Fountain Street. Under the safe haven law, a person can surrender a newborn 30 days old or younger into a baby box without fear of criminal prosecution. This will be the 20th baby box installed in Indiana.
And the circle of lights will be up a little while longer after the removal was delayed again. They were supposed to be taken down last Saturday, but it was pushed to this Saturday due to weather. It's since been set back again. It's now scheduled to come down on January 25th. Enjoy it a little bit longer.
Yeah, and the good news is you can see all of the lights this morning, unlike yesterday morning where you couldn't see very far ahead of you. No visibility issues today.
Yeah, the fog is gone. The drizzle from last night is gone. And so, yeah, it's clear sailing as far as your commute goes this morning. As far as visibilities go, you just need to bundle up, warm that car up just a little bit this morning. Of course, don't leave it running without you in it. That is always key, right? We do those stories all the time about cars getting stolen. All right, what do you need to grab before you go? The heavier jacket, as we mentioned. Grab the sunglasses. You probably don't need them initially here this morning, but as the day goes on, we work more and more in the way of sunshine into the forecast. The clouds, they're in place this morning, but no precipitation. The back edge of the cloud cover is off to our west. It's approaching eastern Illinois now. That trend continues from west to east throughout the day today. So for those of you in Richmond, Connorsville, over in the Greensburg area, it's going to take a little longer this morning for you to get into the sunshine, but eventually you get there as well. So here's how your morning shapes up. Temperatures really don't do a whole lot this morning, and for that matter, the whole day, with a persistent northwesterly wind. Mostly cloudy skies initially, then turning partly cloudy. Only 29 degrees by the noon hour. Our high today is 34. More on the rest of the forecast for today, and a look ahead to tomorrow, which features the return of some snow to the area, Lauren.
All right, Todd, here is a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads, looking northwest to the Whitestown area, I-65 near State Road 334. You can see traffic there is moving along up to speed northbound and southbound. Right now, it's a pretty quiet Thursday morning commute. Good news if you're heading out on the roads early this morning.
So this terrifying moment caught on video, as you just saw there moments ago. And this morning, police are still looking for the driver that crashed into that business on the west side of Indianapolis on Wednesday afternoon. Our Kelsey Anderson is live this morning with more on this developing situation. So Kelsey, fill us in on what's happening right now.
Well, right now, nothing's happening here because this store is closed because check this out. It's boarded up because that is where this car drove through. So we've got the boards, we've got all the extra brick and stuff that's fallen out because of that crash. So take a look at this video. This is who witnesses say was driving the car yesterday afternoon. There were 4 people inside the store, including the owner, and thankfully, no one was hurt. Jeremy Steffens is the owner, and he says the driver quickly got out of the car and took off, not showing any regard that she could have seriously hurt all of them. He says it's something he never expected.
I've been in business for almost 8 years, and I never expected a car to come through my building. No, and it's a minor setback, but we're strong. We'll persevere. Well, I mean, as long as they get the building up and going again, we'll do what we need to get this place back and ready for the people again.
Stephen says he hopes to be open by Friday because he's got a pre-release of a new game that just came out. And he also says that if you know the driver of this vehicle, or you know who did this or who did it and why, IMPD wants to hear from you. Their number is 317-327-3811. We've also got the driver's picture over on the RTV6 News app. For now, send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you. If you didn't know any better, you might think a tornado had hit part of the west side of Indianapolis. But this is not storm damage. It's what's left of the I-70 mobile home park. As residents find other places to live, the mobile homes they leave behind become targets for scrappers looking to make money. Jeff Melton still lives at the mobile home park and is still working on his plans to leave. In the meantime, he hopes the health department or code enforcement will order the land's owners to clean up the area before someone gets hurt.
It's crazy. I mean, we don't have no management here, nobody to control what's going on here. I guess we're supposed to just, if we see something going on that shouldn't be going on, I guess we're just supposed to call the police.
RTV6 has learned there is a conversation happening between the mobile home park owners and the Marion County Health Department. The health department says the landowners have requested an administrative hearing to address the violations issued, but they will not say what those violations are.
Time now is 6:35. If you rent your home or apartment here in the city of Indianapolis, listen up. The city is working to protect you against unfair landlords. It's part of a new initiative introduced by Mayor Joe Hogsett, and our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. Alyssa, this proposal is meant to help people who rent from being taken advantage of.
Exactly, Lauren. So the plan would, first of all, require landlords to let tenants know their rights. It would also create a tenant information hotline, and it would provide legal assistance so that tenants could take action against landlords who are not being fair. Now, we've covered dozens of stories of renters facing unlivable conditions in Indianapolis, facing fraud and negligence from their landlords. City leaders have heard these stories as well. Mayor Joe Hogsett announced the new initiative yesterday, stating he's heard stories of tenants left without electricity or plumbing. The initiative also calls for a new protection ordinance that would fine landlords for taking action against tenants who report living conditions to the health department, contact the city for help, or take legal action.
The villains here are not the many responsible landlords and property owners throughout our city. Rather, those few who have failed to hold up their end of the bargain.
Indianapolis is one of the top 5 cities in the country for most evictions. The goal of the proposal is to bring that number down and protect Indianapolis families. Now, that proposal still needs to go through City County Council. If it is passed, then we are expecting that tenant hotline to start in the spring, as well as that legal assistance. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
New housing is coming to the Circle City. Now at 6:37, construction will start later this month on another new apartment complex in downtown Indianapolis. It's called Block 20. It will be built on what's currently a parking lot on Northeast Street right next to the Athenaeum. The $20 million mixed-use development will have 77 apartment units, a restaurant, and a parking garage.
Here they will have a chance to take in the displays of public art, meet for a meal, grab a drink at the Rathskeller, all while admiring one of the remaining jewels of the 19th century's Indianapolis architecture.
So keep this in mind while that's going up. Construction expected to stretch into next year.
It could be damaging information on a former Indiana governor. Next, a man who is now a key figure in the impeachment of President Trump says he possibly has damaging information on the vice president as well. We'll be right back.
Keller and Keller, right now.
Welcome back. It is 6:40 this morning. The Ukraine scandal at the center of the impeachment case against President Trump could now extend to the vice president as well.
A former associate of President Trump's personal attorney says that Mike Pence was given the task of pressuring Ukraine's president into announcing investigations into President Trump's political opponents. You see, Lev Parnas is giving interviews now that evidence he provided to the House impeachment investigators was made public. Parnas told MSNBC that he knows of Pence's involvement because he was told about all the aspects of the Ukraine campaign by Rudy Giuliani, who was working as the president's attorney.
So Vice President Mike Pence has his planned trip to the inauguration canceled after you were unable to get the Ukrainian government to commit to announcing investigations of Vice President Biden. Do you know if Vice President Pence was aware that that was the quid pro quo, that that was the trade, and that that, in fact, is why his inaugural visit was called off?
I'm going to use a famous quote by Mr. Sutherland: everybody was in the loop.
More details on this. Parnas also says the vice president was withheld from the inauguration of Ukraine's president in retaliation for not accepting a demand to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden. So far, Vice President Pence's office has not commented on that claim or other claims that Parnas has made. President Trump's impeachment trial is expected to start next Tuesday.
We lost him 1 year ago, but an inspirational young man from Purdue could be saving lives for years to come. Up next, how his passing is now giving doctors hope.
And the Pacers are getting hot again. We'll show you how they fared against a team they'll be seeing again real soon. Todd.
And the forecast today is nice and quiet, just cold here across central Indiana, but we're gearing up for the snow to return to parts of central Indiana tomorrow. But then everybody gets a blast of Arctic air that is coming in for the second half of the weekend. We'll lay it all out for you coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now, 6:42. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV 6.
Thanks to O'Keefe's, I got my hands back.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:44. We're keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out on the roads to start your Thursday. Here's a live look downtown. I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. Traffic looks to be traveling up to speed in this area. The good news is you're heading out there. No crashes to report around the metro area.
It has been over a year since Purdue superfan Tyler Trent passed away from a rare bone cancer. When he died, he donated parts of his tumors for cancer research. And now IU School of Medicine is ready to announce some of those results. IU has been using tumor models from Tyler's cells to improve cancer treatments. They plan to announce the latest on that research at a press conference later this morning. Trent's parents will also be there to honor their son's memory. We'll have more details on that research announcement later today.
Former Purdue basketball star and longtime high school basketball coach Carl McNulty has died. The Cass County native was an All-American and two-time team MVP for Purdue. He still holds the single-game rebounding record for the Boilermakers with 27. McNulty played in one NBA game before moving on to coach high school basketball. He spent 29 years at the high school level, 18 of them at Kokomo, where he won 13 sectionals. Besides basketball, McNulty was one of the Midwest premier fast-pitch softball players, throwing an estimated 100 no-hitters over 44 years. Carl McNulty was 89 years old.
Rocky Johnson.
Well, he was the father of perhaps the biggest movie star in the world, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And there's a young Rock right there on your screen. But Rocky Johnson was a star in his own right. And of course, The Rock first followed his father's footsteps into pro wrestling. The man known as the Soul Man was a huge star around the world in the 1970s and 80s. He also made history when he and Tony Atlas became the first African-American wrestlers to be given championship titles in the WWE. The WWE announced Rocky Johnson's death on Wednesday. He was 75 years old. Back here at home, it's 6:47. We got to talk about the weather today.
It's going to be beautiful because you can finally see where you're going.
You can at least see.
I was really surprised that the fog did not sort of burn off Todd yesterday until late in the afternoon.
Yeah, it took some time.
You know, we had so much moisture trapped in the lower levels of the atmosphere from all that rainfall this weekend, and then the warmer temperatures were working in, and it created an inversion. And so, yeah, it took a while, but the fog is gone now. So we are in great shape going forward in this forecast, with the exception that it's much colder. Temperatures this morning are in the 20s and 30s, and that's not abnormal. We've been there before the past couple days. However, the difference is today we're just not going to warm a whole lot throughout the day, only getting up into the low 30s here, but we do get the sunshine back today. The sunshine, even when it's chilly, helps everything. It's going to be a brighter day for us finally after it's been a pretty cloudy stretch of weather. The clouds still in place right now, but they'll start to thin out from west to east throughout the course of the morning hours, and the further east you are, the longer you hang on to the clouds, but we all get into some sunshine later on today. So today's just a quiet day for us. You need to just have the heavier coat. Now tomorrow, the daytime hours are going to be dry. That is good. I think you get home from work just fine tomorrow evening. If you have plans Friday night and they include being out later into the night, that's when you're going to start to run into some issues. As you see, we bring in some precipitation. And this is a warm front that's coming through. And there's going to be a band of snow mixed with some maybe freezing rain across parts of the area tomorrow evening. But look at the time. This is basically 10 o'clock onwards. So that's what I mean by unless you're out late tomorrow night, most of you are probably home sleeping while this snow falls and this band lifts to the north. And then warmer air comes in with this band of rain, or band of snow later on into Saturday morning. So we fast forward to Saturday morning at 6:30. Still some snow up in the Kokomo area, but Kokomo South, it's just all rain during the daytime hours on Saturday. So snow accumulations along I-70 before the changeover, less than an inch. Could be some slick spots. Shouldn't be a huge deal. But Lafayette to Peru, Kokomo, Tipton, just north of Muncie, Hartford City, about 1 to 3 inches. Those 3-inch totals, the further north you go. I think basically in our viewing area, we're looking at about 1 to 2 inches in these northern communities. And you can see as we go throughout the day on Saturday, some of the totals, not all that impressive, but it's enough to create some slick spots. One of the things I think that could be a bigger issue is maybe a little bit of freezing rain Saturday morning before the mild air comes in and we go over to all rain. So it's not a big storm for us. We're once again on the warmer side of things. On Saturday, temperatures will briefly climb up to right around 50 degrees before they come tumbling down in a big time way. Rainfall totals here close to an inch again. So it's a significant amount of precipitation heading our way. It's just starting off as that wintry mix before going over to rain, and then this cold blast of air comes in on Sunday. Winter has not been around in full force here so far this month. That changes though. Look at the 7-day planning forecast. Once we get to Sunday, a high of only 20, low temperature of 9. Monday, wind chills probably below 0 with a low of 9, and then Monday 22, 27 on Wednesday, finally back above freezing as we get into the day on Wednesday. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Right here on the interstate at I-65 and West Street and MLK, everything is traveling up to speed, but a heads up if you're heading near the downtown area and the near north side, we do have a fender bender crash on West Street near 11th Street, sort of below the interstate here. The center lane is blocked. That is a busy spot for the morning commute, so just use caution.
The time now is 6:50. We told you earlier about Butler falling to Seton Hall last night, and so the Hoosiers of IU wanted to avoid a letdown after a big home win over Ohio State. But the Hoosiers could not keep that momentum going. IU only had one lead in last night's game at Rutgers that was about midway through the first half. The Hoosiers, unfortunately, did not shoot well, and it was pretty much all Scarlet Knights the rest of the way. Rutgers wins 59-50. IU is back on the road this Saturday against Nebraska.
The Pacers, on the other hand, are warming up, bouncing back from a recent cold streak now that most of the team is healthy. Indiana on the road at Minnesota last night. Domantas Sabonis has been huge this season. He had 29 points and 13 rebounds last night. Malcolm Brogdon also playing well now that he's back from injury. He had 21 points. The Pacers win their third straight, 104-99. They turn around to play the Timberwolves again at the Fieldhouse tomorrow night. And we are just days away from the big return of Victor Oladipo.
Yes.
Go Pacers.
All right, sometimes the best ideas happen between a few drinks, but sometimes those ideas never come to fruition, right? Next on Throwback Thursday, we raise a glass to a museum that ended up being a pink elephant. We'll be right back.
For life, visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
It's Throwback Thursday time again, and shortly after ringing in the new year in 1980, former Channel 6 reporter Reed Duffy snagged the scoop on a project so awesome in scope and design, it was virtually beyond the comprehension of a sober man.
While enjoying a round on Indy's northwest side, Duffy learned of plans for what was sure to be a big attraction, the Alcohol of Fame.
So in this report, Duffy got the scoop from Keith Bratton, a man that he called, as only Reed could, a fabled original thinker.
Bratton unfurled architect's drawings to show the breathtaking range of his dream project.
You can see that we're planning to have the Phil Harris room here. He's a native of Indiana. The room here holding Dean Martin's shot glass collection is quite large. You'll notice there's nothing in this room. That's the Carrie Nation room. We want to have something there, but to commemorate it, so emptiness is the best thing. We're going to have probably other exhibits here. Miles Davis, who makes Alka-Seltzer, maybe Bayer Aspirin tablet.
What Bratton ultimately plans is a building about the fifth of a skyscraper, leaning precisely 8 degrees to the left. The tentative location of the proposed Alcohol of Fame is nothing short of critical.
We were looking at sites over in Champaign, but it was too expensive there, so I think we pretty well decided on Bourbon, Indiana, which is up north and near the toll road. And I think that right now we have scouts out looking for land.
Bourbon, Indiana. Good choice. Bratton wanted the Alcohol of Fame to pay tribute to the roles that bars and drinks have played in our history. Some of the greatest ideas, including the founding of the country itself, happened around alcohol. Alas, the Alcohol of Fame never fermented into reality. We have the entire story from Reed Duffy, plus all of our Throwback Thursday stories online. Just go to theindychannel.com/history and drinks up.
Wow, what a destination that could have been.
Oh, man, I'm bummed.
All right.
That's pretty good.
Well, Todd, we know you would have been a frequent visitor to that.
Yeah, Bourbon, Indiana, I'm sure I'll go right up there.
Yeah.
All right, outside we're dealing with temperatures that are in the 20s and eventually into the 30s this morning, so you definitely have to have the heavier coat today. The good news is we do get the sunshine back. It's a quiet day for us before we deal with some snow tomorrow evening. It'll be after sunset. It moves in and then it turns to all rain heading into Saturday with a high of 48.
Todd, thank you. We do have a traffic alert for drivers just in. A person struck downtown Pennsylvania and 10th Street. That area blocked off the investigation.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here in a bit.